Hello everyone, welcome to the Advancement Centre and welcome to the world of magic and miracles, where once again we get to explore the magic that we haven't really sampled in this lifetime. Firstly, our brain goes straight to what we've already experienced. But right now, we're able to surpass that and look not just at the future, but all the things that we thought were outside our reach. The energies in our field and our ability to touch them at a moment's notice. The fact that we do exist in a multi-dimensional world doesn't even come into it, because that's our natural state. We just reach out to wherever we want to reach out. We enter wherever we want to enter. And we explore whatever we feel we need to explore. But with our everyday life, in the past, that had to be changed very quickly if we wanted to explore anything except what was directed to us. As we move forward, the multifunctioning part of our being stands out much, much more. So we're directed in our everyday life, but at the same time, we have all this space available to us to explore whatever we wish. We have the ability to touch other people, to touch the world around us, while we're still doing the very special things that we do in our life. Even going to work, getting up at a certain time, having meals at a certain time, responding to family and friends. There's still lots more space available. So our world, in a nutshell, has expanded to give us much more space. Space to experiment, and also space to explore. It used to be a very uncommon thing for people to be able to channel and automatically write what they channel. Now, every second person can do that with ease, because the message is there all the time. And we have expanded our capability to match the expansion of the physical world. You may say it's always been there, and we're just discovering it. But it's the other way around. We've just created it on top of what we already had. And with that difference, we have an enormous advantage of being able to not just experience life, but dance with it. Make it do what we need without bending anything, without going against any forces, because there's so much of it that we haven't really used yet. It's like a zoom feature on a computer. We've been zoomed into one area. And when we zoom out, there's nothing there unless we actually put it there. Unless we allow the screen to expand or our focus change. But there is something unique within us that does all that automatically, that frees up an enormous space for us to live a most exciting life over and above what we can write in our diaries. Time is there for everything, but you can expand a short moment into almost a lifetime just by deciding to. You can have an experience that only lasted a few seconds, and you can make it a major part of your life. You can take on a story and live with that, but without restricting anything else in your life, or without it influencing the life that you're actually leading. So our magic extends beyond logic, but it also includes logic. So you can capture part of a dream, and you can live that dream if you wish. But the conscious part of it seems to extract everything when you come back into your awakened time in the regular world. But you'll notice as you go along that you can contain all things without putting them in a container. You can have every part of every life floating around you, and you can be experiencing it all at the one time, or in multi-layered time, or in time that expands and contracts to suit your needs. In small ways, that's happened throughout time, where you turn up on time for an appointment, but you left too late to get there. But somehow time bends and you arrive without any disturbance to your natural flow of life, even though in all logical terms it seems like you've picked up a half hour's time or you've lost a half hour's time. And it's not clear how, but it's a good feeling. Now you can actually change the time base to whatever you want. You can relax and turn up on time because you didn't put a restriction on the countdown. You can determine that you'll be through more events in a day than you would normally do in a month, just by waiting. And those times pop up where everything runs smoothly, where you get things done, and you don't know how you did it in such a short time. Where you used to have to study everything before you could do it, before you could carry out an operation. You now look at it and say, well, I'll be back to do that when it's perfectly timed. when I'm ready. And out of nowhere, you'll just change your tactics, you'll change your world around you, and you'll get whatever the project is done in a minute period of time compared to what you would do if you sat down and logically attacked it. Because you're able to bring data into your field through simplicity. So the simpler you make your life, the easier it is to bring in what you need without even having to be interested. And when your time is right to do something, it will run perfectly, and all the information you need will be at your fingertips. And in most cases, everything that you need to do something with, even if it's fix a broken part, everything you need will be within your reach, even though it's not a logical progression. The logic in your life will not be the same, even though logic still remains, because the availability of functions that do not follow logic is increasing every moment. We have scientific explorations into space, into the memory fields, and into the awareness fields that are never listed, and into time itself. And we, as advanced humans, can do everything that they can do with their spacewalks, with their high-speed travel. We can do just by sitting in a chair. We move from place to place easily. We accelerate because we want to. We ask the energies of the earth to support us, and they do. To maintain our balance, and it's done. Just like children do. They change their weight so nobody can lift them off the ground. Very rarely do you see them play lifting one another off the ground without one of the children clamping their feet to the ground and saying, "Now try and lift me." That's just a small part of the capabilities that are starting to show themselves. But the biggest thing is that it's different every time. And your skill improves with everything that's new. It comes all at the same time. So you don't have to prepare to do many things. You do many things at the moment they're supposed to be done, when everything is in order and everything comes together. And that will apply more so to your physical movement than anything else. The easier you move, the easier everything is in the world around you. The less difficulty appears in your world, and the less you have the necessity to solve problems. Because the problem only appears when you see it as a problem. And it's usually somebody else's problem, not yours. So the essence of everybody's awareness is drifting towards your Creator with a sense of the impossibility disappearing as you go. All impossibilities just turn to magic. And the miracle appears, not from thought, not from desire, but from a natural progression that you are fully aware of and fully in control of. That natural progression appears out of nowhere all the time. It's as simple as a reflex action that happens before thought. So if you live your life moving in front of thought, the thought process will go to sleep. And you won't know it even existed before. I can assure you that's how life is. You know when someone's coming around the corner. You know when someone's going to ring you. You know if somebody's all right or they're not all right. You know the feel, but it's always before the thought. And if you watch yourself, even if you're sitting around a table, you'll know when someone is about to lift their glass before they even do. There are explanations for it all that give you limited capability. Forget the explanations. Forget about the fact that you're reading somebody's mind. Forget about the fact that there are other reasons. Just enjoy the result. And then you open a new world, one that is beyond anything you ever thought possible, where you're just gliding along and you're feeling your own skill and you're proud of it. It's like skiing, when nobody can see you and you feel the elegance of your own movements, and it lifts you, and it lifts your field, and you start to glow. And you come off the slope totally elated, with everything working at its maximum, knowing that you can do better again. And the sensations that come to you, in the past you would have put down to skiing, but now you can do exactly the same walking around the house. talking to someone on the phone, feeling your skill accelerate your life in the right direction. No planning, just instant movements to an overall plan that always changes, just like downhill slope. You're ready for the change and you move with it and you feel the skill of your being. And you don't start to think, how did I read that? How did I figure that out? You just go for the next thing and enjoy the thrill of the movement. As soon as you start to get more information, you'd go into information mode. But you simply experience what can't be seen and enjoy the fact that you are so skillful at it. Then it becomes a part of your life. Then our friends from outer space will be able to join with us, as they do now in a silent manner. But they'll be able to come out of the woodwork and say hello to us without saying any words. Our interaction will be one of amazement, but not for their developments. Amazement at how we can pick up what they've brought to offer. We probably don't realize that most of our systems in this world have an origin that's not of this world. Most of our overall computing for the world is not on this planet. The positioning of satellites didn't happen because we could figure them out from down here. They happened because they were figured out from up there. And much of the progress is because of interaction in fields that we don't think we're involved in, because we were told we weren't. But we're involved in everything. We're involved in all decision making at all levels, in all galaxies, just as we are in our own backyard. There's never been a time when we've been excluded because we actually are the originators. And we come up with crazy projects with impossibilities, and we hide them from ourselves. And we take great pleasure in knowing that our physical being can't find the trace back to where your advanced being actually started. But it won't be long before everybody can trace back into the worlds of magic and miracles, back into the universe and the universal fields, where all the memories of those things that we thought was the past are actually running at the present. When you go into deep meditation, you sometimes come up with images and experiences that you think were other lifetimes. But in fact, if you have your eyes open, those other lifetimes are existing right now. And the fact that you allow your meditative state to exist in multiple layers of awareness when you have your eyes open brings to light the fact that you are operating in many fields and many worlds, all at the one time. And that all those pictures that you get of your favorite places that you've never really seen on Earth, they exist. And many of our greatest developments are copies of what's already happened or what is happening right now in another world. The biggest part of our future is available to us right now. And if you keep saying that, your brain will eventually take down the barriers and allow it to really exist. The future you see for yourself and for others is not held back if you don't hold it back. So you can see a good life for everyone. You see it, it's there. But I don't say see it with your eyes or with proof. Proof is not necessary. Everything is created without proof. You have proof of what you have created only when you have agreement with everybody. But in fact, everybody's vision of even the world is not the same. But everybody's vision of the world exists. And even though someone might draw a picture of their country, the United States, or it's only their interpretation of what it is. And we don't live on a satellite picture of the United States. We live on a portion of the United States that nobody really has all the details of. Even if they have photographs or Google Earth, it's out of date the moment it's taken. It doesn't bring into account the people, the movement of people, the blood flow of the earth, even the highways, moving all the people around, changing the balance of the electrostatic fields because of all the people moving. The colours change. And there's not enough cameras in the world to express what one person sees in one day. So as you see your capability go beyond all the things you have, reality changes. Reality of the world is not like is presented to you. It's not like National Geographic's. It's as you experience it. So you don't know the world as you've been told you do. You don't know what's in the person's shed next door or anywhere in the few kilometres around you or the few miles around you. But in fact, you have a feel for it. And if you needed to, you could give an assessment of what, not the full detail, but of what it feels like. And there is a time in everybody's life where they have to walk into a certain situation where they need to look first. And they can look through eyes that are not the physical eyes. And that will happen more. You will know what's in the person's shed next door if you need to. And in fact, it's easy. So many things that you think are hidden will start to reveal themselves, because there are no places any more difficult than what you present to yourself. You hide your own feelings, you hide your sensitivity, you hide your reality, you hide yesterday, and you hide what you can see for tomorrow. And you're so good at hiding them in places that are within your reach and within your vision that nobody can fool you. And as soon as you see that you're hiding things, you'll laugh at yourself, because you hide everything in clear space, not even outside your field. You can reach out and touch anything that you think you've hidden or that's stored and you think you've forgotten. You can reach it easily as long as you don't specify a time, because you actually store it outside of time. If you want to know it now, sorry, you have to sit back and wait until your interest in time disappears, and then it'll come to you. It'll be delivered. So know that you store things outside time, outside known space, and outside your personal vision that is in direct line with everybody else's vision. So you can't hide anything from anybody, only yourself. So people can see what you're hiding, and they can prove it in many cases by how you walk, how you talk, how you look, how you feel. But in fact, there is nothing hidden from anyone except yourself. So now we move on to where you can't hide anything that's unknown. So there's no such thing as unknown unless you make the specification that it's unknown if it doesn't have a name. You may not recognize it to compare with anything else, but I can assure you, you know it's there. You are interacting with everything. And your advanced intelligence has the capability of changing the sequence of events to make anything appear at any time it decides it's a full balance. So it's no use trying to throw something in a magnetic field unless there's a space for it. It'll just reject it. So the intention of movement is handled by a field that you can now work with. That's the natural state of making space for a person, for an event, for a feeling, for an outcome. You make space, you are actually shifting the fields to bring an attractive force in that makes space for whatever you have to deliver. It's something you can work with. And all you have to do is tell yourself, I need to make space for that. Then your scope of miracles is multiplied by 1,000-fold and more. Because your skill at making space and making dimensions and creating channels has never been looked at. But it's easy, and everybody knows it's easy. So as we move further into this new world, the ease will be obvious. The massive complexity will be a joke. And you'll start to be aware that you can affect electronic equipment just as you affect the flow of your body, the flow around your body, the field that supports you, your family, and everyone dear to you in their worlds that are all different but coexist, not even at the same time. So the more we speak about how there's no logic, even though logic does appear, the more you can make space for something that's way beyond logic. Make space for something that you think is impossible. And make space for the newness of your friends who are outside your visual screen. So the laughter and the feelings of goodwill will actually spread into your life as you feel and enjoy the skill of being able to make space for anything. And when you make space for it, it exists. How it shows itself in the physical, we'll talk about later. But for now, make space for anything and everything. Know that it's possible. Just do it. Feel it. Feel the elation of your skill. And don't worry if anybody's watching or not, because there's no proof needed. You get immediate feedback. And with that, the feedback I wanted to give you today was that we just had to keep talking until something made space for the great being that you're about to enjoy yourself. So with that, I'll end up again with wishing everyone a perfect life, perfect health, and a magic future. Thank you.